Welcome to episode 1 of my stock Evo build. In the first episode, we're going to be fixing a front bumper. What exactly are we doing with the front bumper, you ask? Well, let's consult the list that we made in the last video. Alright, if you can read that, bumper. We've got tab repair, paint mesh, and fitment. Let's start with tab repair. Now these two little bits of metal here are the bumper repair kit from Spec over in Western Australia. The idea of this is to replace the plastic tabs that often break inside of the bumper just here, and hopefully strengthen it up a little bit so when we put the clip back through there it stays a lot tighter, because obviously our fitment right now is pretty average. I believe this can be riveted or adhesived. Is that a word? Adhesived? We're going to go the rivet option because I have rivets. I don't really have any good adhesive at the moment, so that's the plan. As you can see, the old situation is pretty abysmal. You mock install one of the stock wheels real quick just to see. I already did. It's no T37, but I still like this for a stock wheel, particularly with the black Brembo. Looks nice. Now that we've got the car jacked up and the wheels off, we've got access to everything we need. So let's get the bumper off. Start by cutting this cable tie and popping out this clip. If you don't have one of these tools, get one because they're phenomenal. Pop, well this one's already popped out. There is a clip here. Remove these two push clips right here, and then remove the two 10mm bolts that are here and here. And then if I've done everything correct, your bumper comes off, just like that. Now we can see our tab a little bit better. We can see where the Spec bumper tab replacement goes. So it sits right in there and essentially just strengthens up this part here where the plastic gets destroyed quite often. We just strengthen it up. So 2 holes, we've got 2 rivets in there that we need to drill out and then rivet the new one on. I also want to check out the feasibility of removing all the mesh so I can paint it all both sides. The blacks come off, so it kind of looks a bit average. I've actually gotten quite a lot of this mesh off already. The main ones on the side, a couple screws, nice and easy. These little ones that cover the little holes that I think look terrible, just sort of have like these alligator style clips you just pull off. Pretty easy. I want to get all these painted. These parts are expensive, man. Like these ones aren't too bad to buy new, but like the main mesh part is like $400. So if we can get that off, get it painted, get it refreshed, that's the job well done. I am making note of all the clips that I'm missing. There is a parts shop near me, so I might go there with a list. If he's got stuff, cool. If not, well, it's not the end of the world, but you know. Now, as you can see, we have a front bumper with no metal on it. I've got all the mesh off, so we can get them cleaned up and we can paint them, which is going to be good. We're not doing anything crazy. We're just going to go into them and then spray paint them. I'm not trying to go for perfect here, just better. We'll do perfect one day, but for today, just better. The bumper looks cool with no mesh. Kind of like it. Not gonna lie. Alright, continuing with the disassembly of the bumper, let's get rid of the number plate, the underglow, which you can't see, and as much as I love it, the Project Aero lip. Now we've pretty much got the bumper stripped down to where I want it. There are a few bits still attached, some of the plastics like these parts, the lip obviously. We're gonna leave them on, we're not getting too carried away with this. I'll give it a wash, probably just a gurney on the inside to get rid of some of the mud. There's some sort of like spraying stuff in here. The paint is not in the best condition anyway. I'll clean up where the plate cover was, even though it's gonna go back on. We'll just give it a bit of a clean. This bumper tab is broken. This clip over here that mounts up into the fender, I would like to replace that. The next step really is mount the Spec bumper repair tabs. Go. Give it a bit of a clean up with some brake cleaner. And once it's drilled out and cleaned up, it's really just a matter of lining up the new tab. They take a 3.2mm rivet, chuck that in your gun. I'm gonna use this one in the other hole just to keep the alignment. And then we're really gonna beautiful. Perfect. The next step, give the bumper a good old gurney. Now let's give all these metal and wire grill bits a clean up as well. Now while this stuff's drying and warming up in the sun, I need to work out what I'm going to paint all the mesh with. I've got a bunch of random black paints floating around, so I gotta go take stock, see what we got, make sure what we've got's going to work. Now these are all the black paint options that I have laying around. I think I'm going to go with this one, being that metal cover, inhibits rust and corrosion, no priming necessary. Kind of seems like what I want to do. We're also going to be pulling this thing off and repainting this. I have painted it before, but it's all sort of starting to come off now. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick that up or not. I think it is. So let's get this mesh pulled off, and then let's check the condition of that grill underneath, because we might do that as well. These are such a pain to get off. I've kind of worked out the best way to do it is to ignore the flathead thing. Just push that up and pop one of these in and just leave rim out nice and gently. Now we've got a whole bunch of parts that are kind of like clean but not, because water dries dirty, unfortunately. We need to brake clean all these parts, get them clean, and then we can get ready to paint them. Alright, we've got all our parts hanging. They're all out hanging in the sun. Not sure whether this is a clothesline or a paint line. Looking like a paint line to me. We are going to go over this. It's not too bad, but we're going to go over it anyway. This one we've got all masked off. We're only going to paint this side. The bottom side's fine. And then all of these are just going to get a nice coat over the whole thing. Now don't get me wrong, this is not a full restoration project. This is nothing crazy. Like, these are a bit rusty. We're just painting over it. We're going to use rust inhibiting paint, but like, you know, this is kind of like a temporary thing until we do the full rebuild. You know what I mean? All right, we've got everything painted up. Whoa, that's short. It looks really good. It's hard to tell with the camera because of how much sunlight there is. So tomorrow when they're dry, we'll go over it, we'll see how much better they look, which is heaps better, trust me. I kind of ran out of paint, so we didn't get to do this, but like I said, it's pretty good anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. We did do that. So yeah, painting done. I pretty much ran out of paint, but they look heaps better. Now, one other thing that drives me crazy about this bumper is, see this lip, this protrusion? It's not flat and it drives me bonkers. I've tried to fix it in the past, but clearly we didn't do a good enough job. So we're gonna try again using some survey pegs, some clamps, and a heat gun. See, I can nearly bend it down into shape just with my fingers. It's quite warm, but you know, that's definitely a lot closer to what it was. So I'm thinking if I heat it up and clamp it, it'll be good to go. Hopefully that will sort that out. Alright, it's been a couple of days. Let's see if our bumper wonkiness repair actually worked on it. It's been really cold, so I don't know. It's definitely better. Yeah, looks heaps better. The question is, will it stay like this? Time will tell. Let's get this thing reinstalled. Main reason I want to get this reinstalled is I've got a bunch of hardware laying around. I'm about to start doing some more work in the bay, so let's get this thing resettled, back together. Now I'm missing 2. Fortunately, we picked some up. Now they do come with the back piece, but I don't need them. Let's see if we can get this bumper back together. I am missing a few clips that I've ordered, where a mesh clip and one of the side clips to the fender, but let's get it back together anyway because I'm sick of looking at it. I'll start with this piece. She's all painted up, she's all good to go. Let's get him on. Sometimes it's just about getting low. Now let's get this main brace thing situated. All the bolts that bolt in this bottom mesh piece, all very, very rusty. So we're just going to be replacing them with some freshies. Reinstall these plastic pieces. Never mind, I was wrong. I'm going to put the mesh in before those plastic bits, because the plastic bits will hold the mesh together. Now we can install. Not like that though, that's backwards. Final piece of the main puzzle. I just realized that I shouldn't have put these 2 in yet, because there's like 4 things that go over there. Oh my god, I was getting a bit carried away, getting a bit ahead of myself there. So that's got to go in there, but these all have to go in these holes. Probably something like that. Most of the nuts on here snapped. Now fortunately I can get a nut on the 2 ends, but I'm struggling to get one on the middle, and that might be too short anyway. It would be really good to try and get that on there if we can, but let's just see what we can do, you know. Alright, the final pieces. Let's get these on. Put our clips back in the top of the bumper, but we're going to replace this crappy screw one with one of these easy push ones. Hopefully the camera is doing this justice. It honestly does look a lot better. I really wish we were painting the whole bumper, because I think it's hard to tell that the mesh looks quite good considering the state of the actual paint, but it is what it is. All I need to do now is put the number plate bracket back on. So let's do that right now. And then that's the bumper pretty much done. I'm pretty happy with that. It's turned out well. I can't wait to get it back on the car. All right, we got some parts in. That means we can now finish our bumper and get it fitted to the car properly with good fitment, hopefully. This little fella here came from Plethora Parts. That is going to go right there, and that is going to sort out our fitment into the fender. Now we also have our front bumper tabs and the screws that match. So I'll show you where these go. So these little tabs get mounted up in that hole right there. And then the screw goes through the bumper up into them. So I can't actually really work out how to mount them up in there. The new bumper screw doesn't really screw into the clip, and the clip doesn't really clip into the middle bit. So I'm a bit confused. So I'm just gonna mount the bumper up and see if somehow, you know, putting the bumper there and bringing them together kind of helps. I don't know. I'm like kind of winging it, to be honest. This white clip goes in, not a problem. Push that up and in. So I finally got that clip, that plastic clip in. I managed to pop it in. I watched a few different ones online because this doesn't really seem to be the normal setup. I'm not really sure what's going on. So, because this screw, like that doesn't have a thread in it. So I'm kind of feeling like I have to make one. So I don't know, I'm just gonna put it up there and send it and just see what happens. Worst comes to worst, we'll just cable tie it again, I guess. It looks like it's going to line up a lot better. As long as I can get that screw in, that all comes together pretty well, I think. I don't know if that felt right, but it's tight like a tiger. Seems to be in pretty well. I don't know why, these headlights sit too high. Maybe I gotta bring them a bit lower. That's in. Got the bolts behind here, and there's one in here somewhere, but honestly, it kind of looks like there's a bolt already in there, so I don't really know what's going on this side, but yeah, gotta work that one out still. But let's definitely try and get this one in. All right, I know there's glaring sunlight and it's hard to see, but the fitment is way better than what it was. It's way firmer than what it was. It's not like flopping around loose, it's just flopping around because it's plastic. I'm pretty happy with that. The car is absolutely filthy, but it looks a lot better. That is job done. So we do have a problem with the wheels. These wheels are not going to fit for the moment, and the reason why is because we have extended studs on the car. Came with extended studs because it was running a spacer. The factory lug type is a mag seat style, not like the Acorn style that you run on most aftermarket wheels. It's better to run these because they sit in there a lot better because it doesn't have like the Acorn dish that all aftermarket wheels have. Fortunately, because of the extended studs, you run out of lug. The stud hits the end of the lug before it tightens. We did try and get some longer ones. These are Toyota ones, so they're quite a bit longer than this. Still doesn't work. Even running a 15mm floating spacer on it still doesn't work, so we're not even close. Because we're getting a tune tomorrow, and it's now, I don't know, but it's getting late. What time is it, Jesse? 3:45, goddamn. We're just not gonna worry about these for the moment. We're gonna chuck the T37s back on, which is cool. I'll try and work these out on probably Wednesday, so the day after the tune. I got to think about, do some research, work out what's going on there. So let's get the T37s back on, and then we can, yeah, go from there.